In 2021, he did 120 transactions. This year, he's on pace to do 126 transactions, and the business in his community is down 50% this year. We're talking about the difference between momentum on the personal level or
Hmm.
company momentum. And what it
I
comes
see.
down to, when I asked Jose Luis, I said, "So tell me about your business plan."
So we basically set our financial goal and then kind of took it from there and figured out what exactly we would have to do to make that possible. So we narrowed it down to doing, I think, 2 closings a month, and then that would be 5 leads a week to get there. And I think once that was broken down for a week by week plan, it definitely seems like it's more attainable than just this big number of this is how much I want to make this year, and let's figure out how to do that now. So we did an average price point of, I think it was 450, and then 2 closings a month, 450. Once you do the split and all of that, it brings what I would be taking home, I think, at 100,000.
So, how do you come to getting 5 leads a week? What does that look like?
So I'm on the Zillow team right now, and then I also have leads coming in from Ylopo, but then I want to do at least two like quote unquote events a month. So it's like going out, networking, meeting people through there. I do like club Pilates, but having like intentional conversations at places like that where I can convert
Mhm.
some of those people into potential leads. Um it was more so for me, I think it's like having those intentional conversations rather than just talking about whatever or trying to bring up work and seeing if anybody knows anybody. So that's one thing I want to work on next year. And then on top of that, I was like, I need to get back into social media. So, posting 3 times a week, even if it's not, I don't think I'm gonna go down the route of having a separate account
Mhm.
for work, but just going on my personal account and creating stories and tagging people so then they put it on their story and then it's engagement that way.
So Aaron has taught us, and Aaron has gone to, he's grown from literally not thinking that social media is even effective 3 years ago
Yeah,
to now. I don't know if you've watched him recently.
I have.
Okay. Have you heard him talk about this book?
No.
So if you're going to re-engage in social media, one of the things you might consider is read this book. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The author of this book is Donald Miller, and the premise, he's brilliant and he's incredibly wealthy, but
Okay.
he's wealthy from this place, right? He's not,
Hmm.
yeah. And the whole premise is, and I've got it right here. I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. You've got a character that has a problem. They meet a guide who gives them a plan, calls them to action. We all know
Hmm.
what that is, right? The character is transformed through it ends in success and it helps them avoid failure. So the easiest way to remember this is what's a movie that you've seen that you believe there was a character that had a guide?
In almost every single movie.
Yep,
I
you
feel
know
like
it.
there's not, yeah.
Yep. So that's it. That's the format. And the main point that is driven home in this book is that
Hmm.
most people in social media, they make themselves the hero.
Yeah.
Character is the hero. And instead, what we need to do is position ourselves as the guide. So
I see.
I'm not the best at this. However, would you humor me and let's see if I can put one together off my head. All right.
Okay.
Are you a seller that's having trouble getting to where you want to go? Recently, a seller hired me. They had been on the market for 6 months
Hmm.
and their home couldn't sell. We came in, we assessed the situation, we guided them to make the right changes that got them a result and under contract in 15 days.
I see.
They sold for their asking price, and now they're living in Indianapolis near their grandkids and enjoying time with their family. If you would like to accomplish your goals and spend more time with family or get to that job that you need to get to, DM me the word success.
So then you're
Okay?
building engagement by saying, oh, I helped this person do
Correct.
this.
You're positioning yourself as the guide.
Yeah.
Because the most powerful person in a story, like if you think about it, Um, did Harry Potter, did he know that he actually could use magic?
No.
He needed Dumbledore to show him that, right?
Yeah.
So the most powerful person was the guide that gave him what he needed to discover that he actually had the magic in him.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you might consider is maybe jump on the 1 o'clock call with Aaron on Wednesdays because he's always talking about positioning.
Instagram and
Another good resource too is Jose Luis has
mm,
140,000 followers on Instagram and 300,000 on TikTok. If you
wow.
look him up, he's in our upline. He's one of our in our organization.
And so I guess the leads you're getting are mostly buyer leads then, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And have you guys found, you may find this out that like 25 to 30% of buyer leads will be seller leads. A lot of times.
Yes. Yeah. We've been seeing that more lately. I think early this week. So I got my license about a year and a half ago, and I have had a few people that have come through and said, "Oh, I'm looking to buy a house, but I need to sell my home first."
So are
That's
you
And
allowed to take those listings?
you are,
Can allow
yeah,
you? Okay.
yeah.
So something you may want to practice. I don't know if you're doing any listing presentations or
I
scripts.
am. I'm
Okay.
working on my listing presentation right now. I do have my buyer's packet put together, but um just going through and looking at other people's listing packets and then figuring out what exactly I want to put on
That's
there.
something I'm sure Mark could help you with. He was a top listing agent, was coached under Aaron, and they've got like a really good listing script that they go through.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be great.
Would you like me to share the listing script with you?
Yeah, could you send that over to me?
I will. And if you really, really want to get comfortable going on listing appointments, when the business really got fun for me is when I
Mm.
internalized that script.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that like you could call me at 2 in the morning and say, Mark, tell me your script. And I'd
It would
start
just come
rattling it
out.
off.
Yeah.
And the value of that is what I discovered is that it made me a better listener
Okay.
because I didn't have to think about what I was going to say next.
Yeah. No, that's true.
And then the script also has at least like, I think 8 closes built into it, like
Okay.
trial, simple closes
Mm-hmm.
that before you even get to the pricing presentation. And it
Yeah.
helps understand who you have sitting in front of you before you, so that you can know how to communicate with them. Consider scheduling a third party call with Aaron. I think
Okay.
it would be a good idea to do that. And
Okay.
because there will be, as Aaron shared on the call on Monday, he does I don't know if you were on the attraction call on Monday. When we have a relationship, what's interesting is we may be a friend or we may be a close associate to someone, or, like they might see us as their equal. And yet they may not make a business decision because they never looked at us that way.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Aaron can speak a language that Leo probably will respect, and it'll bring more credibility, Joel. I would definitely schedule a time. And I know Aaron doesn't show much on his Calendly for the rest of the year, but if timing is important, you could always reach out to Gabriella and say, Gabriella, I've got someone that needs to do something sooner than January. And a lot of times she'll get Aaron to plug something in for you.
Yeah, and also I'll give you another win. We closed the deal. We had a listing, and the guy that bought it was a Keller Williams agent, and he bought it for himself. And he has a team of like 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually got an onboarding call with him and Aaron Thursday evening, and I did that actually. I reached out to Gabriella, said, "Hey, listen, this guy, he wants to talk, and think we need straight now while it's hot."
I
So
think
yeah,
that's
definitely.
exciting. Great, Joel. And
Oh,
good for you. These are great wins. Thank you for sharing those. And Sarika, her win, she shared that she got her business plan put together. And on the personal side, she is going to a huge wedding for her family, and she was asked
Oh,
to
cool.
choreograph a dance, and it's done.
Wow, that's
I
very
know.
cool.
So I have a question for you, Sarika.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about business plans since October.
Okay.
And one of the things that, if I do a be honest, I really didn't do well last year was create a business plan. And I'm going to own that. I failed last year. My business was down 35% last year.
I
I made
feel
a,
like I've been hearing that from a lot of people.
and here's the interesting thing to note. I spoke to Jose Luis Morales
Hmm.
last night. All right. You know who he is in our organization, right?
Yes.
Okay. He's in Oxnard, California. In 2021, he did 120 transactions.
Okay.
This year, he's on pace to do 126 transactions, and the business in his community is down 50% this year.
Wow.
So, what we're talking about is, I mean, that's the difference between, um, we're talking about the difference between momentum on the personal level
Hmm.
versus momentum because, the whole area is doing well, or
Hmm.
company momentum. And what it
I
comes
see.
down to, when I asked Jose Luis, I said, "What have you been doing to cause a result like that this year?"
Yeah.
He said to me, "Mark, I have not missed one day of prospecting, and I've not missed one appointment in prospecting, so that I'm focusing on lead generation." And I said,
Okay.
"What is causing you? What is driving you to do that?" And what he said, "Mark, I'm building a new house for my family this year." He said, "I need every dollar that I can get."
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just it. And
Yeah.
what it comes down to, and I think every good business plan, what we need is a why.
Hmm.
Why are we doing this? Because if we're not thinking about what motivates me when our alarm clock goes off, and you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, and it's just another
Yeah.
day for another dollar. I mean, do we really get motivated to come into the office and do this just to earn a dollar?
Yeah.
I'm imagining no. I know for me that's not
No.
the case. Joel, I'm
No.
imagining for you, no. So then the question becomes, all right, Sarika, if you have 24 closings next year and you earn $100,000, or Joel, if you have X number of closings next year, or me, if I hit 60 listings next year that close, now I know that my survival number, meaning housing, food, insurance, taxes,
Hmm.
that's what I need, right? And transportation is going to be X amount of dollars per month, right?
Yeah.
So that tells me that after $120,000, then if I sell 60 homes and that GCI is 600,000, after everything, I will actually have $180,000. Now, what do I do with that money? Where am I spending it, right?
Mm.
Have you given thought to that, Sarika, where after housing, food, transportation, your business expenses, right? What it's going to
Hmm.
cost you to be in business, what do you have left when you actually hit your goal?
I
And
haven't gone through and narrowed that down yet. I didn't even think about that until just now.
the value of that
Yeah.
is because we're not, we're human beings are driven by emotion. So
Hmm.
when we talk about, okay, just earning another dollar, that doesn't necessarily get us moved. But if let's say there's a portion of that 100,000 that you're gonna earn next year that is just like you don't need it to survive.
Yeah.
So then what does that look like for Sarika? And you may not have the answer this moment. That's not what I'm asking you for. I just want to spark your thoughts because then that when it's like, for example, I know next year my intention is to give $30,000 away. $7,000 is going to go to three young people to pay for their prepaid college expense. Derek and
Mm.
I have committed to these young people. Now, if I've got that on my wall and I've got it on my vision board and I've got that, like, this is the reason why I'm coming in and closing 60 listings next year versus just to earn another dollar. That's something that I mean, when I look at the picture of these kids on my wall, that drives me to come in and get
Yeah,
it done. Does that make sense?
exactly. I
Freedom.
have mine written out. I use a greatness tracker every week.
Ah,
And so I just went on my greatness tracker and I edited it into the top of it. So it's printed out every single a week and I have to write down all my numbers at the top. So
Oh,
I'm like, regardless, I'm looking at it and it's easy because it's just printed out every week. But then I can go back, say 3 weeks later, and look at my one from 3 weeks before and be like, okay, the goal's on the top, but did I actually follow through with it if you're looking at the rest of the paper? And I feel like it's kept me a little more accountable.
That's powerful. I
Mm-hmm.
use a greatness tracker too, and I use a lead tracker. Is it something like this?
Yeah, mine looks like this is my one for next week. I just pronounced.
and what's the
Um,
greatness tracker? I don't think I know that.
Go ahead and describe that, please.
so it basically it's a document. It says these are all the things that I need to do this week, and then mine is laid out day by day. So like Monday is my VIP days, Tuesday is my current client days, Wednesday's lead day, Thursday's past clients, and Friday's new business.
Okay.
And then as you go down the list, so I use like the different days as days where I can, if I have nothing going on, this is what I'm going to focus on. And then if you're going down the greatness tracker, it says, did you do your social media posts? You put a number. Did you write thank you cards or birthday cards? And I'll put a number there, or I'll write down who I wrote the birthday cards to. It's got great conversations on it. So I write down, oh, I had a great conversation with these 5 people. And if I don't have 5 people on there, if I don't meet my goal as to how many people that I want on there by the end of the week, then I know I underperformed.
Very
That's
cool. I like
that's
that.
powerful because it's right there in your face. I wanted to share something that Aaron has shared with me recently that really makes sense, and it came up from a book that he had read. Aaron's always reading more books than me, and I appreciate that because he gives us the Cliff Notes. So I'm going to deliver the Cliff Notes to you. There was a book written by Jay Abraham, and the book is Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got. And what Aaron shared with us recently is that there's really there's 4 ways that a business can grow. What do you think the ways that a business can grow would be? So Sarika, what do you think one of the 4 ways is that we can increase our business?
Maybe like I was saying before, having those intentional conversations with people,
Yeah.
um, and putting yourself out there and not necessarily talking about yourself, but talking about yourself in a way that you know is going to benefit either just me or the both of us.
And so the act of doing that is actually getting leads. You're seeking leads, correct? We have to
Yeah.
have leads for our business to function and grow. And in order for the business to grow, you can increase the leads, right? So let's say, if you're operating from a place of, like you said, 2 leads a month, or for me, I know that I need 20 leads a month for me to get to my goal. If I want to increase the business that I'm doing or ensure that I'm doing it, I'm going to look for maybe 25 or 30 leads a month.
Yes.
Now, the second way, if we're increasing our leads, that's one way that the business can grow. The second way is that we can increase our conversion. So if we've got a conversion rate is, let's say, 10%, and it goes to 20%, out of 100 leads, that's 10 more pieces of business that can happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The third way is through ascension. I sold this person this house when they had no kids. And now this person needs to buy this house and they're ascending up to another level of expense, right? Or cost. That's what ascension would be. Selling someone higher priced products. Okay. And then the fourth way is retention. We're all in different stages of our business, right? I mean, I've been doing this for 22 years. I've had the privilege of helping, 1,200 plus families. Sarika, you're just jumping in this last year. And Joel, how long have you been doing this?
About 20, 21 years.
Okay, so you're similar to me in that right now, if we wanted our business to increase, we might look at one of these ways, two of these ways, or we might be looking at I might be looking at 3 and 4 because I've got my systems in place already and my leads are humming in and my conversion is ready there because I've learned my scripts. And I might be looking at ascension or retention. so that I can focus on, growing without having to be on the hamster wheel as much, because retaining clients or getting referrals can make that a little bit easier. So here's my question. Given what you're looking at, all of us, with what your goals are, which one of these four ways do you think would help you the most this year in what you're doing?
Well, for me, it'd be two things. I want to generate newer leads because I'm looking to do more wholesale.
Okay.
So it'd be setting, which I've picked up a few. There's like, Jose Luis talks about the website, need to sell my home fast. You
Mm-hmm.
pay per lead. So I've done that in the past. I've actually picked up leads that I've listed, but I never thought of it as like going after them for wholesale. By increasing my marketing budget towards that system, I should generate a lot more leads that I can convert those to either, more listings or possibly a wholesale deal or something I can buy and keep, like an investment. And then
Okay.
the other thing we're trying to tackle is, retention. Like just before Christmas, my partner Denise, which Mark knows, we used to do like the client events, once a year, Christmas time or something. So since COVID, we gotten away from it, hadn't done it. And then Lars had like a little webinar, like what we're doing here. Lars had one of his things that he does once a week, and he was talking to an agent in Gainesville who does 50 deals a year, just basically doing community events. Like the neighborhood has a movie night, she'll buy them all ice cream. Like maybe at the ice cream stand, I'll buy you an ice cream. And me and Denise like, man, we haven't done a community event in a while, so we thought about doing one now for Christmas. We blasted it out to everybody, emailed it, texted it, and then most of the people were like, I'm going to be out of town. I can't make it. It's too short a notice. And so we only had like 9 or 10 actually were going to go to it. So we decided to cancel. So I'm look, hey, sorry, it's, we didn't give you guys enough time. We'll reset it. But the good news is we had one of our clients come out and say, hey, I'm actually moving. He works for the church. He's like, I'm going to go to Tennessee. I need to talk to you guys this week to get the house sold. We just picked up a listing. Now, would he have reached out to us anyways? Maybe. I don't know. But we hadn't talked to him like over a year, since maybe 2 years since we sold him the house. So that was kind of an eye opener. Like, yeah, we definitely got to set up quarterly events. And even if they end up getting canceled like this one, we still had that touch to your spear. And it, makes a difference doing those quarterly touches. So that's, two things that we're gonna like really hone in on for this year.
So what I'm hearing so far is that to increase leads, you want to increase a different type of leads, and you're doing that through Need to Sell My House Fast Now. That's a website that will actually send you leads. I've used those leads, by the way, and what I'm aware of, Jose Luis shares that 90% of those leads actually turn into listings.
Yeah, it's a pretty. They may not use a realtor, because that's when I went back and I tracked it. I didn't know Jose had mentioned that also, but I had tracked it and seen that like that 85-90% of them actually sold. Now they may have sold on their own, or some of them listed. Like some of them were dead set against hiring a realtor. But if you come in as like, oh, that's fine, I'm a cash buyer, and then just do an assignment of contract, something like that. So that's what we're looking to do. But yeah, it was a pretty high conversion ratio of how many actually did sell.
Good. And then I'm hearing we're through you doing outreach, Joel, you heard that earlier a week ago, to your database for retention, that, when we reach out to our database to let them know about an event or about something, we're accomplishing at least two things. Number one is we're touching them, right? They're remembering us. Number two is they're experiencing goodwill from us, and whether they show up for the event or not, it's a benefit when we reach out to them. That's awesome. That's good. So how about you, Sarika? What are your thoughts around the four ways that you can increase business?
I would love to work on retention as well and just keeping my name at the front of people's minds, or just knowing that I'm doing something where if the conversation did come up in somebody's home where they were selling their house or they were looking to buy something new, they would remember who I am. So I want to send out maybe like monthly emails regarding the market or holding events for the community as well, just so that they know who I am.
What I love about what you just said is, um, and this is my incorrect thinking, is I actually had an expectation that about retention that you would say, "Oh, I'm a new agent. I have no one to retain." But
Hmm.
you didn't go there. You have people in your life that you can retain. And I love that you went right to it. There's no reason why you can't communicate with them and cause it
Yeah.
to be an opportunity for you. I love that you went there. That's perfect. Um, have you gone through the exercise of going into your cell phone to see how many contacts you have?
I have, and I have a lot.
How many contacts are at the bottom of your contact list?
Oh God, let's see.
Joel, do you have, while she's doing that, do you have an iPhone, Joel, or is it a,
Android.
okay. At the bottom of an iPhone contact list, when you go to the bottom, it shows how many total contacts you have. Can you do that with an Android?
No, I know I have quite a few though. And actually, I've been going
I
through the lead lately.
Okay. How many do you have?
I have 1,449 contacts.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay, so what's interesting is if we just do a little quick math here, 1,001, you said 1,141?
1,449.
Okay.
So
So
almost 1,500,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge.
1,550.
Yeah.
Research shows that 16.7% of them will give you a transaction if you communicate with them 36 times in the next 12 months. So times 16.7%, that's a lot of opportunities. That's 242 deals.
Oh, don't say that. It'll go to my head. Um,
Now, mind you, some of those, they might be not of, you might have people that just are not going to do anything or people that aren't,
oh
but
yeah.
you get what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
what we also know, research has also shown that, most people, even though they might have, 1,000 friends on Facebook or 3,000 friends on Instagram,
Hmm.
whatever that might be, the reality is no matter how many friends or how many people that you're connected with on those platforms, a real human's life will only come in a circle of about 100 people max. So if we take and we identify those top 100 people, those 50 people,
Hmm.
that like if we called them up and said, "Hey, XYZ," they would show up in a moment's notice. Like if I called
Yeah.
your dad right now, Sarika, I know he would show up in a moment's notice,
Oh yeah.
right? I know he wouldn't list his house with me. But you
No,
know what
we
I'm
would.
talking about. He's
Hmm.
gonna, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like people that would take a bullet for you, right? And
Yeah.
you identify those top 50, and then maybe you're gonna love on them even more. Those are the people that you're gonna go and take to lunch, maybe at least once a month or once every other month. And when we
Nice.
do that, you get so much more from that smaller group. So I love that you said that you want to retain. So what would be, I know Joel, you're working on going into need to sell my house fast now. That's going to give you more leads. What would that look like for you with these 1,450 people?
That's what I was saying. I love to start sending it, and I'm working on it. Sending out either a bi-weekly email and a newsletter, and then just reaching out to all these people because I know that half of them live in Orlando. It's just where I've grown up, and I'm sure a lot of them are still residing here, and maybe just hosting an event and saying, if you want to stop by, stop by. If not, then that's okay too. Um,
Yeah.
and just seeing who would come. And then taking it from there and narrowing down that list of people.
So have you thought about how you would be systematically touching these people? Do you have a CRM that you're
I
working?
do, yeah. So I uploaded or I inputted all of those contacts into my CRM already. And then I created a list of all of the contacts because I know some of them I don't even have their emails. It's just their name and their number. So I've started going through and Google searching them and seeing if I can find their email to add into the CRM. But the ones that I already have, I've put them on a list already to do a mass email. Get them
And then what if you were to call through the list?
I know I should. I should.
Do you think that that would?
It definitely would. It would help. I'm sure. And it doesn't hurt.
And Sarika, I want to tell you, you're speaking to someone that I cut my teeth on expired listings. So if you were to ask me the same questions, I would say that I've failed in what I'm asking you. So this year, I am truly committed to speaking to 10 of those people a day. I've got like 1,200 people. If I speak to 10 a day, I'll be, whether a voicemail or a text that they respond to, or whatever that, what that looks like, a happy birthday where I'm calling them on their birthday. If I do that 10 people a day, I'm going to reach 1,200 people twice in 1 year. And when you break it down, that's doable. I can do that.
Yeah. I really do think it's about breaking it down because this is the first year. I mean, this is technically the first year I'm in real estate, but just also the first year that I've actually set a business plan for myself and broken it down week by week. And I feel like that just feels so much more attainable than that large number that you're trying to achieve.
That's it. That's it. That paired with, okay, consistently doing it day in and day out, like Jose Luis says, I've not missed a day of prospecting because he's got the picture of his completed house on the wall in front of him.
Yeah.
What about increased conversion? You're working on scripts, and the fastest way is to role play every day. So what does that look like? I mean, can you commit to role playing 2 times a day, 5 days a week? That's going to be the fast track to you getting to be incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, and I think I was telling you we also had a role playing group within my team, and we're doing that. I think that's 3 days a week, and then the other 2 days we have that AI software. So I do that almost
Okay, good.
like every moment I get, I'm driving, I'm running through that AI software, and that one's great because it does update for like every month with questions and market trends and all of that, and that's been helping a lot.
So do you mind sharing a little bit about, Joel? She's talking about it. I'm interested. What's this AI software and what does it do?
It's called Maverick.
Okay.
Gives you 3 to 4 numbers, and it says like this is a standard buyer, this is an irritated buyer, this is a confused buyer, this is somebody that's wanting to sell their property, this is it has like it goes through buyers and then it goes through sellers, and you call that number and you get an AI bot that answers the phone and says, this is my number and this is where I want to live and this is my price point. And the goal is to set an appointment. So if you don't set that appointment at the end of the call, then it logs it in as like you failed. And every week it'll send you a email saying these are all your calls and we went through and we tracked them all and this is what you did wrong and this is what you could work on and here's a few scripts as to or here's what you said and here's like the tweaks that we made and what you can change going forward next time. So it learns with you, and it'll tell you like you've been doing this thing wrong every call and you're not changing, so what can we do to help you change?
It's awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Is there an expense for
Maverick? There is, and I mean, luckily our team leader is paying for it because he tried it, I think, last year, and he was like, he's an 11-year-old daughter, and he had her sit down and run through the calls, and she was like, she's really good, and
she now prospects every Saturday for him.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was like, put her in a call, send her over to me, I'll have her do mine. But he had a great time with it. He had like random people try it and he was like, it's very helpful. And then a few months ago when the election was happening and the NAR settlement and all of that, it tweaked to the questions that were being asked. So you had to answer questions about the settlement, questions about the election, and it would tie it all into market trends and the hurricane that happened based off of like area that you were your like client was looking at. So, I mean, super helpful. I don't know what the exact expense is on it. But I mean, well worth the money.
That's awesome. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that with me. I'm noticing, what about you, Joel? Anything else for you that you think that you could be doing to help improve either increasing leads, increase conversion, ascension, or retention? Anything that I can help you with?
No, not right now. I mean, you're always great. You're right there. If I need something, I send you a text. You're quick to respond, so I appreciate that. So I think I'm all set. It just with me, it's just gonna be you know, trying to get more leads coming in through the need to sell, and then and also the probate. I'm doing the probate to get better at that. So maybe role playing the probate. You know, if you got time to role play later, set up like a once a week call, something like that. I don't know if you're still going after probates or not.
Yes, I am. Absolutely. It's a great source of business, and it's a niche that is really valuable here in Florida because, as maybe you've heard Aaron say, we are in heaven's waiting room right here. You know, there's the largest demographic in our country right now is the baby boomers, and the average age is 65 years old in that category. And people are living an average of 73 years old. So we have a lot of opportunities from that. I'm happy to do a role play with you.
Have a great
Mary,
week.
I appreciate you both. You keep me honest, you keep me going forward in my production because we're making commitments to each other. And
Mhm.
I wish you much peace and joy through the holiday and then into the new year. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.